All right. This here's what I ended up with on this thing. I did a stream this morning about this, and oh crap, I got this radio on here. Anyways, so um, what's going on here? Let's see. Here's my mouse. So basically, the issue here is I went out to the truck and I kind of put this. So I kind of drew the faceplate offline here. This is what I ended up with here. But it's not going to work. There's not enough room for this. That's one problem. The other problem is my printer will not print this. It will, well, I trimmed it down to where it will barely print it now at this size. So what I've come up with is a new plan where what I think I'm going to do is kind of put the CB in sideways. Okay, so the CB is actually gonna be like this. And so this faceplate where this would be is going to be right here in front. And the CB will be sideways in front of the cup holders. And so I'll be able to see it from the driver's seat, but not from the passenger seat. It'll kind of be aiming at my leg, like my leg is right here to push on the gas pedal. Basically in here somewhere is where my leg is. So it'll kind of be aiming at an angle, kind of like that. So I'm going to have to, first of all, the whole box is going to have to be modular. It's going to be printed in panels, okay? And I'll just print all the panels and then I'll screw it together. And it's just going to have seams in it. So whatever, who cares, right? But the whole idea is to totally print this thing, 3D print the whole thing and then put it in. So, and if PLA warps, then I'll reprint it out of ABS and reinstall it. So, but I'm just going to do PLA because it's easier. My printer is not it's in a room inside my house. So I don't print on anything but PLA unless I take it to the garage. I'll take it to the garage to print ABS, or I do have the ability to print PETG. I don't have any, but I could buy some and do that as well. So, but we'll start with PLA. It's cheap, it's easy. So, but anyway, so now what I've got to do is redraw this whole thing to be this way. And I need to draw it in sections. Basically, I can't go longer than like 100 and I think I have about 100 and I have about 200 millimeters is what my build plate is. So I really need to go down to like maybe 180 at the most on how I draw it. And so I kind of need to section it out. So the main faceplate, I might be able to get away with 180 to have no seams on the main faceplate. Because what I'm going to do is basically this 110 outlet thing here, which I do have here. I ended up deleting the actual plugs, but this is the 110 thing, okay? So it is going to go probably on the side over here. So, because I just don't have the room. And then what I might do, well, I'll have the two USBs in the front, so that'll be good enough. And I'll just have the 110 poking out the side. I don't plan on using the CB very much, and I don't plan on using the 110 very much. That's going to be occasional. So they're going to be pointing out the sides of the box. So the 110 will be pointing into the passenger person's leg, right? Which will be fine, because if they, they're more likely to be using it while we're driving anyways than I would be. Like, I'm not going to use it for anything. I don't know what they would use it for either, but that's where it'll be. And if I need to, use a tool that I plug into the truck, I'll open the passenger door anyways, because I'll probably be working on the passenger side, if I'm parked on the street somewhere doing something. Or I could just do the driver's side too. It's not that much different, but that's what I'm going to do with that. So, and then they can use that USB, or they could use the USB that's going to be right here. So, which is going to be up here. So then I'll have the switch panel, which will be, what I'm going to start with is the switch panel by the cup holders, and then above that will be the phones. So here's the switch panel here. It's a Nylite 4 banger with the USB on the end here. And I thought about taking all these out. It would save space if I didn't use this little plate. But I do like the plate, and it's already all wired up for me. So, it's just easy if I just use this. I can just print this thing, install it, just put this in, screw it in, just hook my wires up to it. Hot and ground, and then my wires per deal. Now, the one thing that I will say about these, and I'm sure I can rectify this if I just unplug one of these back ones, these lights never turn off. So if you're not like daily driving your vehicle with this, you might want to disconnect the light back here and rewire it, or that's what I would do. I wouldn't just leave this hanging out in their back, or maybe you could cut it, black tape it, or something like that. Or what I did in my trailer that I just did with that switch panel is I just hooked up a whole nother battery cutoff switch. So in that trailer, most of the time it's just going to be sitting there. I'm not camping, right? So when I'm not camping, I'll just turn the whole cutoff switch to the battery so everything loses power. So the battery doesn't just sit there and drain off of that light, which I do have I have 100 amp hour lithium in there, so it'd probably take it a long time for those lights to drain it off, right? So, and I plan on using that. I do plan on using that trailer. It has solar and the battery. I'm going to put an inverter in it, and I'm going to use it like for my garage power. I'm going to like hook lights up to it and stuff, and light my garage with it. I might like run tools off it, different things like that. Maybe charge other batteries off it, just stuff to kind of like bring my power bill down whatever amount. I'm buying all this solar system and everything. I might as well use it, right? It's not. The other thing about that is if I use it, and then I'll kind of be paying attention to it, if that makes any sense. Because the way I kill batteries is I stop paying attention to them, and then they die. So that way, if it does go dead, I will rectify whatever situation to recharge it or whatever. Okay, so let's look at this box. So I need to build basically the front or the back of the box. This side of the box doesn't necessarily need to be covered, but the other side does. Actually, neither of these sides do. All I need is some sides. I need a side here, and then a top and a side here is really what I need. And then on this front, on this side, I will need it to kind of it can be hollow. But so let's start with this front piece. Let's do that. And so I'm going to, I don't know if I should use this model or not, because if I should just start a new model, or because this does have like all this stuff in it. But yeah, I guess I will. I'll just use it, because what I can do is I can just mute all of these, and I can start with this, even though it's like kind of the wrong angle, How do I do that exactly anyways? How do I make this the right angle? I don't really know exactly how to do that. I guess if I pat it the other direction, yeah, so it's not really going to help me either then. And I do have it here, so I can actually get the actual full dimensions. So since that's not going to help me, I'm just going to make a new file here. So let's start with a body and a sketch. And we're going to have this, we're going to put it in space as if XY is the floor. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is on the XZ, I'm going to make a rectangle. No, I'm going to do a polyline because I'm actually going to make this. This is going to be the CB radio. Yeah. Just so that we can use it, you know, as a model to kind of make sure that we're doing things correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these angles 90 to kind of square it up. I don't have like any of these perfectly diagonal tools, you know. Let's see. So that should square these other two, right? Oh, no, it doesn't. Does that square this one? Yeah, so... Wait, does it or not? I don't know. I guess it must. Yeah, see, it's like too many constraints, man. I can't handle it if you over-constrain your stuff. I'm like, why? Why does it matter? What difference does it make if I over-constrain it? Okay, so now what we need to do is put this as what the actual radio is, this actual size, because now we're making it for reals. You know, and that other thing would work, but I wouldn't be able to put my phone in there. And I feel like the phone charging aspect of this is going to be used more than anything. Like I said, I barely use the CB. I'm not even 100% sure it still works. You know, it is nice to have and to think about, especially like if, you know, you get into a shit hits the fan type situation. Having these radios is not bad. So the radio is about 57 millimeters. It says 56.4. But I'm just going to put 57 because that's what I do. Okay, so this one is 57 millimeters. Okay. And basically, we're going to get our length here. Looks like it's about 220 in length. It's longer than my calipers. Okay, so there we go. So there's our radio. So that shows you just how big it is. And like, I don't know kind of what angle I need it to be on. It needs to kind of be something like that. So I think I measured the height. And I did this in American. So let's see, 5 inches up. And so what we can do is this dot to here, this is going to be our floor. We're going to pretend, okay? So from here to here needs to be 5 inches, which I think an inch is 25 millimeters. So let's see, inch into which is 25.4 millimeters. Okay, so 25.4 times 5 is 127. Okay, so what we're going to do is click on this, and we're going to put a vertical distance of 127. Okay, so that's locked into where it's going to be. And then this point is going to sit on the floor. So we're just going to put that there like that. Okay, so that's going to be our angle. That's how I figure my angle, right? And then basically what we could do, you know, and the other thing too is that some stuff sticks out right here. So I might have to raise this, you know, or lower it, I mean, to get like the antenna wire out. Well, really it's just the antenna wire. The other wires will work. I have a speaker under the hood, so I can use this as a PA, which is actually the most I use it for, you know, just to goof off, really. Okay, so this back part, so I need to have wires coming out of here. And then the whole thing is going to be, I think, 10.5 inches wide. 10 1/4 is what I ended up on. So, yeah, so I did like lay this out in the truck, and this is going to work better than what I had. So the problem here is that this side is going to have to come up. Oh, and I need a bolt right here. There's actually a bolt here too. So I don't know if I put that there. Let's see where that is. It's 112 from the front. So let's do that. Okay, and then let's figure out how high it is from the side. $27.5 from the top down. Which, if it's centered, what's half of 57? So it'd be, 28.5, right? Like, I always try to do this in my head, and maybe I shouldn't. Let's see, so 57 divided by 2. Yeah, 28.5. But I might be off a little bit, but let's just do that. So 28.5. Let's try to center it for our model here. This won't really matter that much other than locating the actual hole there. So let's just do this. Put it at like a 4 or whatever. It's just to kind of tell us where it is. Okay, so as far as locating this, if I wanted to make this my inner wall, I don't know how far across this thing sits to be on the actual edge. I'm not sure that really matters either, but it's 10.5 inches wide, or 10 1/4 from this point to this point, right? So I guess what I could do is go to there, and then do a distance, and then figure out how many 10.5 inches, 10.5, let's see, or 10.25 times 25.4 millimeters is 260.35. Well, this thing do decimals. Yep. Yeah, I guess it does. I guess I should turn up this radio. It's going to make noises. So we thought these radios were bad. I was just about to replace the batteries in them because we couldn't get them to turn on, but I guess the charger we were using was bad because I tried a different cord and they work, so that's good. Okay, so there's my CB. Okay, let's pad that. To 185. 185, okay. Okay, so there's my CB there. Why did it error on that? Is it not like my hole or what? Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to start making paneling. So how many inches is about 100? I think about 180 is what I'm going to limit. So 180 divided by 25.4. So about 7 inches is my limit on what I can actually print. So if it's 10 1/4 wide, then I probably want to do 5 1/8 wide on the front panels, and I don't actually really care so much on the side panels where the seams are. But see, I don't know if I should like draw this thing and then try to add the seams in, or if I should just draw it from the beginning with the seams. So let's just start with the front panel here, and it will have this mount hole, which means I do need to make it solid. Okay, so I was gonna make a hole in it or something, but save on print time, but I'm gonna have to mount it through the thing, so we're gonna have that. So let's start with the front panel. So let's go to this. Like that is big. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? XZ here. Okay, so what we're gonna do on this sketch is we're gonna build the box here. So the front of the box, but it can only be 7. If we do 7 inches, no, we need to do 5 1/4, 5 1/8 on each. Okay, so 5. What's an eighth in decimals? This is where it's going to get difficult, because I need to calculate this into millimeters. So what's 10 divided by 8? Would that give us our decimals? I think it would, right? Let's see. 10 divided by 8 is 1.25. So would that be 5.125? Is that right? Let's see. Or what? Yeah, it's got to be right. Let's see. I'll Google it. 5 1/8 in decimals. Okay, it already has a 5.125. Okay, so that's right. So 5.125. Where's my calculator at? Let's see. Okay, 5.125 times 25.4 equals 130.175. So on the front panel, and this thing's gonna have to screw together too. So, but what we'll do is, let's not do a polyline. Let's just do a square here. Okay, so this is our bottom and our line here, right? So is that attached? Yeah. Okay, so we're good there. Is this one attached? Right on. Okay, so this one needs to be 130.175. Okay, and then the height on this part is, I think it's 7 inches. Let's see. Yeah, it is 7 inches. So I think we can print 7 inches, right? So 7 times 25.4, 177.8. So there's that. So if I do that again here, I wonder what it would do. And then that's the other thing too, is that I need to print these in 2 pieces. So I'm actually not. I'm just going to do this one, and then I'll do the other one. So let's close that. So this will be our front piece. So let's pad that to, like, I don't know if 5 millimeters is enough or not, but let's start with 5. Cancel. I think we can do, I think I could do 5 millimeter walls. It's going to have other things in it, but position, we need to move this forward a lot, and I don't remember how much, but to start, we're going to start wherever this CB ends up at. It was like 50 something. Was it 57? I thought it was, but it didn't move. Okay, so it's way more. I guess I could just go into that other sketch and see. Oh, was that it? 165? 185. Oops. So if it's 185 plus 10, is it 195 or is it 185? Let's see. Okay, it's 185. Okay, so that's the front. All right. So far, we're going to just make a box, right? So it'll just be like that, and then we'll put some holes in this plate to screw through to the other plate right behind it. So now the next question is do I want to just butt two plates up to each other, next to each other like this, or should I make them interlock in some way? It's like I think it'd be cool to have them interlock, but that is kind of more engineering. And for this part, I don't think it will matter because this is all going to be hidden by the cup holder. The cup holder sits right against this edge right here. And so there are some fasteners poking out that I'll have to deal with. But, okay, so there's that. So we're going to call this one like front. Front one or something like that. Okay, can we just clone this? If we just like push Control C, okay, and then Control V, and then if we drop this into that body, okay, or do we want to put it in its own body? Let's see, Control Z. Let's make a new body. So let's call this body front one. Okay, so now we have it. So what we need to do is move it one way or the other here. Let's actually not do that though. Let's just go into the sketch and move it. If we go down to our constraints and delete, that's actually not the one we want. So it won't let me move this line. I'm just going to delete it. Actually though, what is it? 177.8. So 177.8. So I don't know why I can't find that constraint in there, but that's all right. We'll just do this. So we'll make this 177.8. Okay, so now what I need is I need this to be 130.175 away from this. 130.175. So the other one will sit here perfectly. And then I need this and this to be like that. Okay. So now I have, if I put this here, see it's right next to it. So then we'll pad this to 10. Or did we do 5? I guess we did 5. Okay, so now, there we go. So it's already positioned out from our CB, which is like that. So, it's like, I almost feel like I should like interlock these somehow. you know, make some sort of little puzzle piece to put these together, but I don't know how well that will work. You know, I mean, that's the thing. So, but I can't print this whole piece on my printer. It's too small. If I could get a bigger printer. Now, the other thing to note here is that I think I need to cut this thing off at the corner here. I need to cut this corner off so that I can access my buttons. You know, like this thing is going to have to do a little thing here. So let's go back into this and figure that out. How are we going to, should we just eyeball it, or what do you think if we like grab one of these and like kind of, is that good enough? Like, who hates that? So then if we get this one, is it this one or this one? This one, and we click this, it will delete these. Okay, so now what we need to do is reconstrain this line at whatever it was, 138.175. I don't know why it had it at 130.8. I guess it's rounding. Okay. And then this one's still constrained. We need to constrain this one at something. We'll just say it's that. We need to constrain this one at something. We'll say it's that. Okay. So 127.11. We'll have to remember that because we'll do that as our side piece there. Okay. So now the top plate might have to cover this little inch here, or whatever this is, or something. We'll have to get something to cover that area. So basically that's the beginnings. Okay, so now what we could do is make this side piece. We should be able to do it. I think we can do that as well. No, I don't know how far back it needs to go. Where's my phone? Why am I still getting errors? I think we're good. Okay, so it's 13, no. It says it's 5 inches deep. So we should be able to do that, right? So how big is this thing? So it's 186 wide. So what's the width? Let's see. So 186 divided by 25.4 is 7 inches. So the whole box is 7.3 inches. So depending on how I want to do the back, if I just leave the back open, basically the top of this will only be 5 inches deep. So I could just make a plate that goes 7 inches back, and it will just sort of reach the back there, I think. You know, and I could mess with this a little bit and see how it goes, but we'll just kind of play with it. So the first thing, so from here to here is 5 inches, right? So let's change this. I don't know why it got renamed to front 3, but we need this to be front 1. Okay, apparently it's going to be front 2. It must be because this is front 1. Okay, so maybe let's name it front body 1, like B1. Let's see if that works. There we go. Okay, so let's name this front B2. Okay. So now we'll do another one here, and we'll name this left, which really it's, yeah, I don't know, driver, whatever. So let's do this. Let's do a sketch on that, and then we'll do it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the XZ again. Okay, front. So we're gonna do it on that one again, and this time it's gonna seem weird because I'm doing it this way, but I won't print it this way. I'll print it from the side. Okay, so this is where we need to get into screw holes. Okay, so let's see. So this needs to be, what was it, 130. Let's close this and go back to here. Not that. So 130.175 twice is 260.35 is where our outer edge will be. So let's go back into here. So basically what we need to do is get a polyline, and we need to go down like this, right? And then we need to come over however much, and I mean we could just come over thick and then make some screw holes, or we could like make some little rounds. Let's just go thick, because this will be kind of holding up the CB, maybe. I mean, I think I'll have a hole in here, but depends on how thick we want our holes to be here. So let's say that's 10 millimeters. I think that's thick enough to put a screw through. Let's see. So that'll just kind of make it so we don't have to actually really engineer this. I can just drill the holes out. Yeah, I think that's good. 10 millimeter sides should be all right. So it needs to be, so this from here needs to be 260.35. Okay, so, oh no, not that. Plus 10. No, minus 10. 250.35. Because actually this dot needs to be 260 from there. And then this one needs to be 5 inches. So 5 times 25.4 equals 127. Oh no, what happened? I hate it when that happens. I didn't click the, let's see, we need the front. Okay. Okay, so click on that and then click on that, 127. Okay, so see how that puts it right there. So the other thing to note is that our CV goes down like this, right? So we're going to actually have to put an angle on that piece there. Let's go to our model and mute this so that we can see our piece. Okay, now let's mute the CB so we can take our line tool here. Is it this one? No, let's extend. We can delete these here. So we need to redefine this one at 10. need to define this one at whatever it is. Okay, there we go. We're constrained there. Okay, so that'll be our side, or one of our side pieces. And I could just print it into this side piece so that it would just do that. But what I'm kind of thinking about doing is, since I'm just going to be doing it into, sections anyways, is that if one of these sections doesn't work as I print it, I can redesign it and print it just that section, so it's all modular. It's not that big a deal for me to drill and tap this plastic or whatever and put some fasteners in around to hold it together. I have a whole bunch of these little screws that I can use anyways, so it'll be a lot of pieces, but it kind of is what it is. Okay, so let's close that and pad it. Now this, if we go the full length, it's 7.3 inches. That's too long for our printer because it can only do, let's see how many millimeters. It's 185 millimeters, which, what did I say we could do? About 180. So it's close to where we could go all the way, but we can't. So I don't know, maybe I should do it in 2 halves for this too. So if it's 185, that'd be 92 and a half. So let's pad that to 92 and a half. Right, so there it is. Let's see. So let's add in, we put our CB back, we have that. Put our other front piece back, we have that. Okay, so now the issue here, like with these two pieces, they will stay together, and I could even glue them too down this seam here. And maybe that's what I'll do with this, because the issue now is that how am I going to screw this to this other piece that needs to go here, right? Unless I put some tabs inside here, which I could do. So let's redraw this here. So we'll put some tabs on it here. Let's see if we kill this one. Okay. Let's just do this. We'll just put like a tab there about, and like a tab there about. Okay, so then we'll just take our trim edge tool here, delete that, and delete the inside of these. Okay, so it doesn't screw the model up. And then this needs to be something. Okay, so let's just make it 20. We'll just make these equal to each other. Equals. Okay, so now I need to define this. Okay, let's actually just make it 27. Try to even these out a little bit or something. 25. That should force this one to be something. Yeah, see, it won't move. So where's my, what am I under constrained on here? Can I move this? Can't move this or that, or so 4. It says this one is, but what is it under constrained on? I don't know. Like I can't move any of the, oh, there we go. Oh, so this one needs to be straight up and down. This one might need to be straight up and down. Okay, now I'm down to 2. Oh, that's not connected to that. That and that need to be points together. Why does that error? Did I do the wrong thing? Oh, it just can't, probably because this is a certain size. No, it still can't. Well, it needs to be over constraint. Okay, well then how do I, oh, so I can't change it now. It's not letting me. Oh, this thing. This is the wrong constraint. Okay, so where is that one? It's that one. Because I have it on the edge there, but I want the dots to be the same. See that? So it had it. It's the wrong constraint. Because we want the dots to be the same. It was on the line earlier when. Okay, what else do I have? This is the same kind of deal. See, so it'll let it go. It's the same deal there. So we need to delete that one too. Is it that one? Yeah. And then we put these together because I don't know if it will pad like that either. I guess it probably would. Wait, why is it that again? I don't know. Whatever. I quit. How about that? Computer. Let's see. So all I'm going to do is copy this. Okay, there's one. What is it? This one? Where that one is. So can I do this length? Okay, now we're fully constrained. Okay. So now the issue would be I can't really screw through that. I'm not going to put this long screw through it. So I need to put a square in there to get rid of some of that. So let's add a new sketch onto here, onto this one. Okay. And what we'll do is it'll kind of be the same thing. We'll just do like a square, rectangle thing, whatever, down through there. Okay, so this one needs to be whatever distance that was from here, which was like, it was like 250 something. What was it? No, not that, minus 250. I want to say it was like minus 250 point something. Let's go back over here and see. 250.35. Okay. Oops. Okay, so that's really the only important constraint here. The others don't really matter. It's just going to take off some of that deal, but we're just going to constrain it fully anyways. Oops. Oops. Why do I keep clicking that one? Okay, so the only other thing we need to do, let's go from here to here with something. Okay, so now we're fully constrained. Okay, so what we're going to do is pocket this, and it's going to delete a bunch of this length here. And on the other one, we just won't, right? So 50, let's try that to begin with, and then I need to maybe reverse it. Is that, okay, there we go. So we want to do more than that. I don't remember what the exact, that looks usable. Like we just drill a hole in that and put a screw through it that way, right? I don't know how many millimeters that is. Let's go back into that, I guess, and see. Oh crap, we need the pad. How much is the pad on that? It's 92.5. So if I did 80, that's 12.5 millimeters. So maybe what we want to do is like 85. So it gives us like 7 millimeters or something to use as a little screw point, and we'll just screw the other one onto it, right? Okay, so now what we're going to do is copy this sketch, Control C. Okay, we're going to make another body for that. Okay, so body 4, we're going to rename this left B2. Okay, I'm going to put this sketch into here and then delete that. And then we're going to move the attachment on this. So we're going to pad it to whatever, what is this one? No, close, that's not what I want. 92.5. Okay, so, and we're not going to do the pocket on this one. So we're going to pad it to 92.5. Okay, so now it's in the same space as this, so we need to actually move it 92.5 some way. Okay, there we go. So just z-axis 92.5. And what this will also give us is the screw holes here and here, if we want anyways, for the front plate. But we could just go through here for the front plate, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. Just screw right through here. But if I want, I can put them out into here, right? So the front plate there. Okay. We like that. We like that, and that one. Okay, so far, so good. So, we're not going to have any interlock here. We'll just screw it, and hopefully it will be good. Okay, so the top piece is going to be the hardest piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this, I guess I'm going to make this side piece, which is going to be basically the same as the other side, except it's going to go the full length up. So 92.5 would be our halfway point. So we know I got to pad to that. Let's remember how big this is by opening this sketch here, which we can't see. Let's actually not. Let's open this sketch here. 177.8. 177.8. Okay, so now we're going to make a new... Uh-oh. I just realized something. No, we're good. Okay, we're going to make a new body. And then so 177.8. So we're going to do a sketch on this. And also do it on that plane. So this is going to ride on this side. No, it's going to be right behind this one. Okay, so let's mute that one. Let's mute that front panel. Okay, so then we can just draw on this axis here. So we're just going to do this. And what was our number again now? So we want it to be like that. I already forgot the number. Let's see. Front 177.8. Okay, 177.8 is what this length needs to be. Was it 0.8 all the time, or was it something else? I don't know. And then we're going to make this one 10 millimeters, right? Again. And then do we want to put the little guys in? I guess we have to because the other one has it. There's probably an easier way to do this too, but this is how I'm doing it. So whatever. Why? Okay. And then I think I put these at 20 on the other one. And then I think this from here to here, I think I had it at 27, but that doesn't, yeah. But this one, you see it's different because it's lower. So I don't know, I guess I could just still do 27 and it would just be higher. It doesn't really matter that much. Okay, so I got that. So I did that. I did these. I need to make these vertical, I guess. And I don't know what other little funky thing there's going to be here. This one, I guess. Can make it 10. What other little deals? Okay, how did I get that one to go last time? See, oh, this one will move. If I just do this from here, that, okay, that from there should be 10. Maybe that will constrain it. Okay, there we go. So that works, I think. So we'll close that and pad it and copy it. So we'll pad that at 90, was it 98.5 or 92.5? I kind of think it was 92.5. Let's see, left pocket is, no, not pocket, pad. 92.5. 92.5, okay. So I think we will want to do the same thing with this as far as the pocket. So this will, what we'll do is we'll call this right. Let's get these down here. We'll rename this right B1. Okay. So let's get a pocket, which we could actually just probably get this pocket sketch and copy it. Control C. Okay. And then go to right B1. And no, that's not what I want. Drag it in there. And then what we'll do is we'll just move it here. So this would be minus 20, I think. Okay, so it's just smaller. Let's see, so what do we have here? If we make this 10, that should suck it into where we want it. Okay, so the way I kind of did that is that this is 20, so it's 10. The other 10's over here, I think, right? So, and then we just need it to be longer because this side is longer, so whatever, like 150 or something. Okay, that should be fine. That shouldn't really interfere with anything. So close that. And then we will pocket that to like, I think I have the other one at like 85. And then we need to reverse it apparently. Okay, there we go. Okay. So that should give us our little tab there. And then what we'll do is basically we'll get this pad sketch, Control C. Okay, then Control B. So it put it out here. Let's do a new body. Okay, I don't know what that error is about. We're going to throw this in the body here. So what we'll do is, did we just move this last time here? I think so. We'll move this to 92.5. And that should move it up to there. And then we pad that out to 92.5. And then that should give us the rest of our length there. Okay, so hopefully this is going to work. I don't know. We'll put our front panels back on here. Okay, so far, this is what we're ending up with here. Okay, so the CB's in its spot. It'll just be like that, basically. So, like I said, the only issue with any of this is this little gap right here. I'm wondering if what I should do is tilt this more and add some length onto this and change this angle, because I don't want to put a little piece in right here. Like, it would be better if the top of this piece just came to the top of that piece right there. And I could recess this down too, which would work. And I don't know if that's enough slop or what, to just push it up a little. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna have to play with this stuff a little bit. You know, it's like just depending on how it prints and how accurate I actually am on my measurements. Because like this stuff never really works out perfectly. But kind of the point here would be that I would put the top in now, and the top would kind of screw along here somehow. And the top is going to be the most complicated part because it's going to have phone holders with, the little charger deal, which I have here. So this is what I'm going to use. And I might take it apart and just use the inside of it and put that into my model. Or I might just kind of put just like print a thin plastic layer over this or no plastic over this. And this will just sit right into my model. The phone will just sit right against it, right? So it's kind of what I'm thinking. So let's do that. Let's change this angle until it's up to there and then change the rest of this before we move on to putting the top in here. And I don't need a back. All the wires will just go in the back. That should be fine. So let's do that. And then also, I don't know if I want to like round these corners. I probably won't on the front. Because there's just no point. I might not on any of it. Okay, so let's go back to the CB then. We're going to have to start with this sketch. And what we're going to want to do is lift this side, right? That should tilt us up. Is that how that would work? Let's mute all this other stuff. So what happens if I go up like to 129? Yeah, it just lifts it up. So basically, well, I need this point to be at a certain height, whatever height this is. So let's go figure out what height that is, which this one should tell us, I think. It is 177.8. Okay, so let's go back to the CB. Let's delete this constraint and go from here down, which is 177.8. Okay, that will put us where we need to be. So the new one we need, this one to here is what? 131.98. 131.98 on the left side here. So 131.98 is now what this needs to be. No, the other one. Edit, undo. Okay, and then this one just needs to be whatever it is to here, like to get that kind of like that angle. And this, as long as it's below it, that's really all that matters there. So let's see, what is that? 123.77. Okay, so now that one should be good for the left one. Okay, we need to copy those two measurements to the right, or to the other left one. So what is it? 131.98 and 123.77. I'm just going to take a picture of this and then use the picture. Maybe. Okay, so there we go. So we'll close that, and then we'll go to the other one. Left B2. So same thing here. 131.98. And this one. hopefully it makes sense what I'm doing here. I'm just moving these to, I tilted that up so that it would be kind of a better deal for that. So then the front, we need to change, not that one, but this one. Okay, so we need to get this one more on now to the plate there. Okay, so I think this one should be the same, 131.98. We'll bring that up. And then this one, I don't know if I need to change this, so let's delete that. Because I think I do now need to adjust this over to like there, right? It's to basically as close as I can get it to that angle, right? Which there's probably some sort of math I should be doing on this, but still could be a little bit, just a teeny bit more. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Okay, now is it too much? It's too much now, but I don't know. It's somewhere in there. So let's just call that good for now. See how it ends up. Okay, so now we're constrained there. So if we push close, we should be good now. Should have everything kind of where we had it good enough. It's not going to be perfect once I get it screwed in there. It's just going to kind of sit in there however it sits. So I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, what is this? Because I didn't name it. So this is right B2. Okay, so, all right, I think we're getting somewhere now where I can actually print this and use it. So the only thing now is this enough support for the CB to be mounted on one side if I don't do a back? Or maybe what I'll do is just get a piece of strap and just hook it from here to here, like a piece of metal or something. Just screw it into the back of here and then put it through the mount hole there. Because that's the other thing too, is that the other little radio will live in here, and maybe even the 110 will live in here. But what I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to print this like this and not really worry about engineering it in. And then I'm just going to cut the hole. I'll screw this together. Except is this mount thing going to get in the way of that? I might have to put the 110 down here and then somehow mount the CB or the other radio in here somehow. Yeah, I'll figure that out. So I'll just put in like a bracket, or I might just mount I don't know if the front the radio will fit right here. Or I'll mount a bracket too here that comes over, or I'll mount it to the top somehow. Except right here is where the switches are gonna sit here too, pointing down. So I don't know, I'll figure it out. So let's see what we got here. I think that's pretty good for now. So now what I'll have is the switch plate. And so what I need now is just like some pieces to go that way. And then I'll probably have to make some more side pieces too. Because now I need something to kind of go up at an angle and back to my dimension. So how am I going to make that? I think to make that, and I need to have this piece. Well, I need to just do one piece that will be my switch piece. And that can be just flat going back. But then I need some like pockets down in to hold my phone in, right? So that it's not just hit everywhere. It just like will sit in there at a certain angle, just kind of sitting there. So above the switch panels. So I'll have the switches and then my phone. It's kind of what I'm thinking on that, but I don't know exactly what angle. I think I have the measurement of how far back it will be, but I just don't know exactly how to draw that. I guess I got to start on this side and pat it as a square and then pocket out the actual little groove thing. I guess I'll try that. So let's start on this side with our sketch. So we'll make a new body. And actually, I think I'm going to actually pause the thing here and go see if the kids are going to bed or what. And then I'll probably come right back on in a minute here. I'm going to go take a break, I guess. Okay, so I'll make a new stream after this, which will be the next podcast for the next piece of this. Okay, so